Hello everybody, welcome to the Sauropod Studio Friday stream. We've got a bit of a different camera angle. It's a little weird, isn't it? I'll try lowering it while you're doing your thing. Actually, yeah, hold on. It is really weird. I thought it would look good, but no, it just looks really weird. We're just gonna do this instead. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. Now we look a little more normal. Hi everybody. Hello the Trash Man. Hello Foden Swift. Hello Henry. Hello Spidooey. Hello Rapid998, Mr. Apple, Vextor. Hello Pedro, Danilo, Rudy Dev, Scrub Lords, Trevor. Hi. Zypherian, bonjour. Hi Wands, how's it going everybody? As you can see, I have a guest today. In my home office, a special guest. I have François with me here today. Hi François.
Hello.
Can you guys hear us just fine, by the way? I can imagine they were just sitting there waiting for the clock, too perfectly timed. We were like 10, 9. So François is here today because last stream I spoke to you guys about something that François was working on, a new game mode prototype. Like, it's not certain that we're gonna release it or not. It's just something he's toying around with in his own free time. We don't pay him for this. He's just doing it for fun. And you guys sort of told me that it seemed pretty cool, like the idea of what I was telling you. If you remember, it was the idea where it was sort of maybe called a settlement kind of game mode, where you started with only 2 Bertrands, but you could put them anywhere on the map. You could start your base anywhere you wanted on the map. And the idea is that you had to sort of farm gems. You could plant like gem farms that would sprout gems and whatnot. And you guys seem to really like the idea. So I asked François to come over to my place this Friday, today, and show us what he has so far. Now you have to keep in mind that, well, like I said, it's just an experiment, something we're trying out. It's not a promise that we're gonna end up shipping that game mode or whatnot. This is just something François is doing in his own free time for fun, and it doesn't have any special art yet, so you're like, there's missing icons, there's probably not going to be any text or anything. It's really just a prototype.
Actually, I hacked all the feature into the pie menu because that's one of the interface I'm more at ease with. So everything you're going to see featured will be placed eventually on the right place in the menu and all. We're gonna draw icons for them and all, but right now it's just like weird placeholder icons and weird option placement.
Yeah, so like, don't pay attention to the UI, don't pay attention to art, don't pay attention to anything except what François is showing you in the game itself. François is the real owner of the game. Yes, François is one of the founders of him and Germain were the two people who actually started Castle Story many, many years ago. This is a special stream with the founder. Awesome, good. I'm glad you like it, Vexstar. So yeah, I say we just dive right into it. I think the way we're gonna do this is François is gonna sort of like demo the game mode for a few seconds. Just give me a quick sec. I need to switch OBS and everything. He's gonna demo like what the game mode is really quickly first, using cheats and everything, just to sort of show you the whole game loop. And after that, we're gonna sort of see what you guys think about that. And then he's going to actually play a real game for a few, maybe an hour or an hour and a half of the actual game. And yeah, let me just get Castle Story working on here. Audio is good and picture is good. Okay.
May I?
You may.
Okay. So before we start, I'm just gonna make a quick change, super quick change right here. Because when I built up the game mode, I gave myself some additional time because I thought I would be explaining the game mode in real time while I was playing. So I sort of give myself another 5 minutes before people attacked me. And since I'm going to do this in 2 separate playthroughs, then I'm going to move them back to their original super hard configuration. First wave duration bonus 300. Thank you. I don't need all that duration bonus. Okay, so let's start. So I hacked it into the conquest thing because I don't want to screw up with the menus before I actually start working on that. There you go. So the idea of the game mode is, well, I'll wait for it to load. I'll show it live.
Yeah, maybe while you're waiting for it to load, you can just tell the people who are just joining us what we're doing today.
Okay, so we're basically showing you, well, as Chateau Jean said, it's a prototype of a potential new game mode that I've been working on, and I'm doing this on my my spare time. Just because I love these brick trons so much, I can't just keep away from fiddling with them. So I decided I'd craft this little game mode there that I think it sort of represents a vision I had of the pace of the game, that we ended up doing something else because I don't know, we sort of make lots of compromises when we make games, and we end up places slightly different than when we started. And I sort of wanted to do that back to the root kind of, personal project. So I kicked off what I call the settlement game mode, which is more of a, I mean, it sort of flirts with the colony building kind of genre more than the actual RTS that Castle Story does right now. Although it's still the same game mechanics, I mean, it's gonna be the same characters, the same blocks, everything and all. I just thought I could tweak the gameplay a little to make it, like that. So here we are. This is the nice thing. Whoop! I have some trouble with it. Okay, everything's fine. So here we are. We are on the Plateau Mont Royal, which is one of my favorite maps, and one I'm using to balance the game mode right now. So the thing is, when my starting point right here is completely exposed. There is no crystal. There's nothing. There's just like my 2 brictrons walking around the place, and around the base are these things. They are crystal patches that I picked up from the Grab the Gem game mode, and every once in a while there's gonna be new crystals spawning on the map. So right now we see there's no one there. There is one here, and the other ones are yeah, right here. So basically what I have to do is pick up these crystals and use them to win the game in a very special way. So, as I said earlier, all the mechanics of the game are hacked into the pie menu at this very, very weird place. So, there you go. It's all called the workbench, but you can see the icons. So this little icon there with two guys is basically the what's the name of that point?
Idle point?
Idle point, yeah.
Rally point.
Yeah, move rally point.
It's where you set up like your rally point.
Yeah, exactly. So I can always go there and move my rally point, and you'll see the cursors will move over there.
Your rally point being, like in Conquest, the rally point is your home crystal. It's basically the place where Bertrands return when they don't have anything to do. It's like the center of your base.
Exactly.
So essentially you're kind of setting up, you're kind of deciding where you want your base to be.
Yeah, I could decide to place the base right there if I want to be in the center of the action. But I'm not going to do that right now because it would be sort of suicide. You'll figure out why I'm saying this in a few moments. Let's say I'm satisfied with this specific location for now. The other thing is this little crystal here. I'm gonna go and pick it up. And I'm gonna use a whole lot of cheats to accelerate the game because, you know, if I don't do that, I won't be able to show the mechanics.
Setting your own base place is a nice idea, right, Oblivion? That's exactly what I said when he first showed that to me. I think it's kind of cool that you get to choose where you want your base to be on the map. Giving yourself bricks.
Yes, bricks and
Could you
other
lower the volume of the music? Sure.
commodities like this.
Here, when you've got a second, Francois, just click like Alt Tab and click like here. Just lower that blue bar. No, you don't need to Alt Tab actually. It works. Yeah, just lower that. There.
Like that?
Perfect.
Okay.
That should be better.
Okay. So he's gonna come back and put the crystal there, and I can place something right here, which is oops, I'm good. So look at this. This is a blueprint. It's a Bricktron blueprint. So if I place it there, it actually costs 1 brick and 1 crystal to build a Bricktron. So that means, basically, that the economy of the game is no longer linked to the central crystal. It's entirely dependent on your resource management. So there you go. Hi, Baltrug.
You just crafted Baltrug.
Yeah, I just crafted Baltrug because one of the ideas of Castle Story is we wanted the game to be we wanted the Brickrons to be mineral in their nature. They had to be crafted when we first imagined the game, and then the crafting mechanic were not up to point, so we basically created the central crystal as a hack to avoid having to handle the whole creation of Bricktron issue. And when we ended up developing the crafting system, it turned out we didn't really have the time to, you know, rebalance all the game modes and all, so we decided not to go forward with that idea. And since I have time right now and I'm not necessarily paid for what I'm doing, then I can pretty much do whatever I want. So I decided that, yeah, you know, Brickrons are minerals, so let's craft them.
People seem to be pretty excited about the idea of crafting their own Brickrons.
Yeah. So technically, if you have enough resources, you know, you can just, craft tractors. And then the other mechanic is, I'm gonna need a few of these. Where's the other? Where's right there?
Oh, you've got Corruptrons attacking you.
Yeah, I know. I also have a lot of Brickrons. I'm gonna be able to roll through them.
Just brawling.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I just activated the cheat and, you know, spawned 10 Brickrons, so I can pretty much do whatever I want. This doesn't count, you know. It so much doesn't count. I'm gonna, you know. There you go. Kill these guys. Thank you. Oh, more guys. More enemies. What am I going to do? What can I possibly do to get out of that very bad situation?
Don't spawn too many. It's gonna start. Start lagging.
There you go.
Actually, Rudy, you can kind of mod the game. There's lots of things that are accessible, lots of things that you can modify in the Lua. Also, there's a C loader that a player made, Electron's made, that would allow you to inject C into the game if you wanted to.
Most of that gameplay you're seeing right now is based on the game mode system. I had to change a few things, to be fair, in the game because the home crystals were deeply embedded in the code, deeper than I expected. But all the spawning and moving your spawn point and everything about where the crystals are spawning and what the enemies do with them and all, it's all part of the game mode system.
Really, it's all in Lua.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Even like the ability to like craft your own Brittron, adding the icons in the pie menu and everything, all that is in Lua.
I had to go through the game for that.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Oh, what is that you just placed down?
Oh right, I just placed a crystal. So
Okay.
the idea is this is my basic farming system. So you take the crystal and he basically just plants it on the ground, and this is a crystal that will spawn some new crystals in a few minutes. If we wait like 15 minutes, there's going to be a new crystal there. But we won't wait for 15 minutes because I want to start a real game and show you how it's done. But let's say that in the long term, this is a bad placement. I'm not doing myself a favor doing that.
How come?
Because it's going to be ugly and it will not look nice and fun to play. And eventually, I would like to create some rules of placement for the crystals, so that you can just stack them all on one top of the other. My idea is that your crystal would have to be planted, facing open sky and at a minimum distance from each other. So if you want to have this huge, 20 crystal farm, you'd have to take a big patch of ground to do that. Hence, more defenses and a more elaborate castle. So the idea is, all the game, there's going to be crystals spawning around the map, and there's going to be crystal that you place in your map that are going to mature and give you resources you can use to either plant more crystals and augment your farm, or create characters that you will need to face the enemies. So the enemies are going to rush me exactly like they do in survival and conquest, and to face these increasing rush, I'll have to basically monitor my economy and make sure that I build enough Bricktrons to defend myself, while still investing enough in the long term to have the resources I will need to build the characters to survive longer. And eventually you start putting up some crystals on the side, and when you have 30 of them, you win. So right now I have no winning mechanics because winning mechanics are plugged into the game signal pipeline, which is slightly more complex than the game mode standard game mode ones. So I didn't really went through the trouble for that. You will win eventually. My idea is I'll give you some sort of blueprint that basically creates a home crystal, and that would basically give you victory.
Yeah, so the victory condition is to have enough blue gems, enough smaller gems to craft one big home crystal.
Exactly. So the metaphor here is that there are two lonely Brickrons that end up in the island. I don't know how exactly. Maybe they fell off a far and higher island. Maybe they were thrown there with a catapult or anything, and they're not established there. So there are Brickrons roaming the island, and you need to basically build up that community. And the first step to building a productive community for the Brickrons is to create a home crystal, so that everyone gets their little sprites and all their new friends can respawn and all. So they need that home crystal. So you're going to basically help them establish that situation on the island.
Yeah. So there's a few questions.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, first of all, is unrelated to the game.
Would you mind if I start a new game while I answer the question?
Yeah, no, go ahead. So Jim, you're asking how do you turn on the editor? I'll show you after the stream. So when Francois is done with his demo, I'll show you a quick tutorial on how to. Well, actually, you can turn on the debug menu by clicking. Actually, can you do cancel for a sec? If you click on back to game. If you click on settings at the top right, and right in that settings menu, there's the debug button, which they can. Let me borrow the mouse just a sec. I'm just gonna hide the camera. There you go. So right here, settings, and then debug menu right here. You can click that, and it opens the debug menu here that gives you access to some cheats. If you want like the developer stuff, ask on the Discord, and I'll let you know later today. For the other question, someone was asking, what's the lose condition? How do you lose?
You lose when all your Brictrons get killed.
There you go.
So right now I can't really... Oh, can I delete them? Yeah, I can do that. Okay, that works. So... Let's say I take my 2 initial Brictrons and I decide to go, you know, for a run around the island.
Someone was also asking, if a Brickron dies, do they respawn or do you have to make them from the ground? Okay, you have to build them.
You have to rebuild them, yeah. So you need to use your Brictrons carefully. And you need to craft them when it's appropriate. You need to risk them when you can actually craft them back. So it's basically a challenge of economy. And well, you know, I think in the ideal situation, Brictrons would have an upkeep maybe and less of an initial cost, but we don't have the mechanics in the game to do that right now. So we're just gonna have to go with the you know, good old very precious mechanic. So I'm gonna get myself killed right there. And I'm gonna lose, and it's going to get me out of the game. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you by the way, but when the enemies are attacking, they are specifically targeting the crystals you planted as targets, and your characters too. Yeah, they're attracted by the farms and by the characters. So eventually they'll break your economy if you don't do anything. You can't just take one brick run and run in a far distant place and, you know, just hope for the best. They're going to find you. So do I need to reset the thing, or can I?
What do you mean? Restart
between the games?
No, I think it should be fine. Okay. Someone is asking, is there any chance of more API being exposed to Lua for modding, like setting the win conditions or such?
Well, not in the short term.
Okay. Right now, is setting the win condition something you can do in Lua?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's already something
you can do that. Yeah, you can already do that. You can basically decide when you spawn the enemies, where they spawn, where they will attack, where are the winning conditions, the losing conditions. You can change the.
Do you have any keywords he could, like, Control F, he could search for when it comes to winning conditions?
Well, I think it's a display thing. It's like a display win screen, display defeat screen or something.
Okay.
I could run through the game mode if you want eventually and show you how it works.
That's interesting.
That could be another subject. But the thing is, our big game mode guy isn't working for us anymore. Well, I mean, it's basically just Cal running the place. So so there's no network and no game mode and no UI and no everything else. Yeah. So we'll need to figure out our things before we can actually.
So are you starting a new game right now?
No, I'm starting a new game. So
okay,
basically.
So hold on. Before you do that, is it possible to make it so the home crystal HP is dependent on the amount of smaller crystals you have put into it, and if it takes damage, you would have to get more to cover the damage? That's an interesting idea.
Okay, so can you repeat that?
So what Raphael is suggesting is that instead of making it so your Brickron's dying, you lose the game, he says, is it possible to make it so the home crystal's health is dependent on the amount of smaller crystals you have put into it? And if it takes damage, you would have to get more to cover the damage. Okay. It's a suggestion. It's an idea.
Instead of making a blueprint, one big blueprint where you put 30 crystal, you'd have one specific crystal that grows when you add stuff.
Yeah,
and he has HPs, and you don't want to break it. But if it gets broken by the other player who throws a catapult barrel or something, then you'd have to start again and recreate another home crystal. That would be doable, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a cool suggestion. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this game mode idea? You get to place, you start with a very small number of Brictrons, but you can craft more Brictrons by gathering gems, or you can instead use these gems to start building a home crystal blueprint, or you can use these gems to plant them and farm more. And the goal would be to build a home crystal to win. It's cool, but I don't like the farming part. Why not? Why don't we like the farming part? Sounds great, epic. I love it. It looks cool. Nice. Can Corruptrons attack structures that are uncompleted right now?
I'm not sure. I think they go through it.
Yeah,
They can attack it and it doesn't affect them. So I'm gonna try to snatch that. Oh no, I just saw someone spawning there. I'm not going to try to snatch it.
Vexor thinks it's unique. What if he plays the crystals on small islands that is not connected to the main island? Will you still be able to lose? So that's something I told Francois. No, you wouldn't be able to lose. And I mean, that's just the sandboxy nature of Castle Story. Like, you can go into the world editor and make an envision map where the home crystal is. And
Oh no, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
And the corruptions can't reach you. So, yeah, you can.
No.
I mean, the official maps will
Why?
be made in a way that you can't do that. But if you want to use the world editor to make a map where it's impossible to lose, then yeah, you can. When a Urchan dies, will that name be gone forever? If a Urchan dies, is the name gone forever?
Yes, it is.
It is, yes.
Right now it is. Sorry about that. If you're a fan of your specific Urchan,
Don't let him die.
yeah.
Will it work in multiplayer?
So I have a problem right now because I'm getting my ass kicked. Sorry about that. I'm not exactly sure if I can get through that.
Just start over.
I guess I'm going to start over on a map that I understand better.
Yeah, just
So,
F10 and then quit.
Yeah, maybe I should have placed my Bertrands further away because I think he was going there and she just decided to cross through that little place here and they decided to attack me.
So, F10.
Huh?
So before we continue answering questions, I just want to reiterate, because I think some people are joining us now. We're showing off a game mode prototype that Francois is just working on in his free time. It's not a guarantee that we're going to be shipping this game mode. It's just something he just wanted to come on stream today and see if you guys think it's interesting and whether or not he should keep working on it and keep playing around with it or not. But it's not a promise that we're going to end up making this game mode, so don't like in a month or 2 months, don't be like, hey, where's the game mode? We're still waiting for it. It might come, it might never come. It's just an idea. Someone is asking, would the game mode work in multiplayer?
Yeah, that's the idea. The idea is that I want this game mode to be some sort of a bridge between Invasion and Conquest. So a lot of people complained that there was no good Invasion multiplayer mechanics, and that the Conquest PvP and Conquest PvE were so different that it was basically two different game modes. And I thought I could, try to bridge that, because if you have your own internal economy and you fight for your gems, like it was in the grab the gem game mode, then you can have an environment where there would also be enemies and corruptions. And it would work. So you can have that being attacked every 10 minutes kind of feeling from Invasion, that internal economy where you can stay on the same place but still have competition over what part of the map you control and where you can actually go. So I thought that would be a good middle ground between our main game modes, and eventually, if it comes down to that, it could be the one game mode to rule them all. But right now it's basically just me testing my things. Oh, so I spawned in a very interesting place. There are basically no shards around, like as far as I can see. They're all stuck up there, which means I could technically expand and take a pretty huge section of the map if I wanted. I'm going to start thinking.
Because the corruptions are going to spawn all on the other side.
Yeah,
because corruptions always spawn near the patches of gems.
Right now they do. I would eventually like to have the old spots that are not used be available for corruptions to spawn there. Maybe some more environmental spawning or something, so that you can get randomly attacked in your way. But I'm not there yet, so we'll see where it goes. How far that game mode thing is going to be able to go. So right now I'm controlling my characters manually because it's more efficient when you're doing the very small scale operation. So my idea is that I want to build knights as fast as I can, because I know I'm going to get attacked pretty soon, and I know I will need knights to defend, and I also need them to patrol the map and go fetch some new resources. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right
Vexter is asking, what co-op game mode do we have right now? All of them. You can play all the Castle Story game modes in co-op. Of course, you can. Sandbox is already kind of a co-op game mode. You don't really attack each other, but you can play Invasion and Shared Control. You can play Conquest in both Shared Control and like co-op with different gems, and you can play Grab the Gems in co-op too. You can play all the game modes in co-op. So you're starting to build your structures to have a
Yes, I want
militia.
knights as fast as possible. That's the idea.
I see you micromanaging your Bertrands
Yes.
a lot more than usual.
Yes, that's because I have a lot of pressure.
Which game modes can you play in co-op but with different crystals? Conquest. Officially, you can play Conquest in co-op with different crystals, but there's a mod that lets you play Invasion with different crystals too. Could you guys make double brick have plugs too? So that would be really helpful for building. Ah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I know that. I was struggling with that this morning. I was testing my game mode and I got lost into the construction of my walls and all. You know that's pretty much what Castle Story is about. and then I realized that there was no plugs on the double bricks. And I remember all the times we were asked to do these and why we didn't never get to the point where we did that. There was really no real good reason apart from that. Figure out where they would be and place them all in the menu and all. But it's really just some sort of we thought we had more important things to fix in the game.
Yeah, there's always something that takes priority over other things.
Yeah, exactly. But it would be very useful, and there's no excuse. I mean, it's we can do that right now, and it's going to be useful. It's going to be useful. So I guess if I'm looking for another very small update I can make, that would be a good option. So yeah, there we go. I'm gonna get my knights eventually.
So lots of people asking, will there be new things? Will there be new classes, new ballista, stuff like that? So the situation right now with Sauropod Studio is that we don't have any active developers. Unfortunately, the latest game that we shipped, Mirador, it didn't go as well as planned. So right now, unfortunately, financially speaking, we don't really have the possibility of hiring developers to develop content for Castle Story or for Mirador, which is what you're seeing right now is just Francois doing this in his own free time. So right now, in the short term, we don't have plans for updates like ballistas or new units and stuff like that. But in the future, maybe there's a possibility. We've been discussing more and more the possibility of making a DLC for Castle Story lately.
Right. That's an interesting.
That's something that people have been asking us a lot. Like, okay, if you can't make updates for Castle Story because of financial reasons, why don't you make a DLC and you sell it? And that's something that we might consider.
Yeah, well, one of the funny things about Castle Story is that we have this amazing community that comes back every week and every month to play the game and all and support us in many ways. But in the end, most of the sales we make with Castle Story are final because we never invested in the DLC system. So basically, we just we need new people all the time. We can't really service the people that already play the game, and that's a problem because we have this huge community and we'd like to service it. We would like to give you more options constantly. So we just need to figure out that that DLC thing properly.
Yeah.
Before we can actually
Dan
do that.
says, I understood that you abandoned the development and maintenance of this game to focus on Mirador, so I did not buy Castle Story. So Dan, we didn't actually abandon Castle Story. Castle Story, we completed Castle Story, and eventually at some point in a game's development, as developers, you have to decide whether or not it makes financial sense, because unfortunately making games is not free. If it was free, if we had someone just giving us free money to keep making games, we would just keep working on probably we would have worked on Castle Story all our lives. But unfortunately, we needed money to survive. And eventually Castle Story was not generating enough revenue to sustain the studio that we had. So we had to try a new game. However, we didn't stop working on Castle Story for lack of money, but we stopped working on Castle Story because eventually we considered that it was complete. We had all the features that we had. all the features that we planned, all the features that we had promised, all the features that we had announced. We made a Kickstarter for Castle Story, and before releasing the 1.0 update, when we were planning the 1.0 update, one of the exercises that we made was go through all of the Kickstarter, every post that we ever made, every announcement that we ever made, all our social media, everything, and make sure that everything we ever promised would be in the game was in the game before we called an update 1.0. And that's what we did. So Castle Story not only has everything that we had originally said it would have, but it has a lot of things that we never even announced, that were never planned as part of the Kickstarter, because Castle Story is a Kickstarter funded game. And like multiplayer was never planned for Castle Story originally. It wasn't promised. The crafting system wasn't something we said we would do, but we still did it. The free agent system, where the Britrons sort of automatically know where to go and what to do, that's a pretty, it might seem simple, but it was a pretty complex mechanic to add to the game. The world editor, sharing maps on the workshop, sharing translations on the workshop. Lots of like 2 of the 4 game modes were not originally planned. So it doesn't feel fair to say that we abandoned Castle Story. We just eventually we completed the game, we wrapped it up, and we shipped it as a complete title.
Yeah, I guess if we had some sort of super powerful Patreon who will give us like $1 million every year to make this game as cool as possible, then we could have worked. When it would still be a full 20 people team working on it full time. But the thing is, as I explained, that eventually we reached the point where Castle Story wasn't paying for his own team. It's just how market works. And when you reach that point, you have to wrap it up and go do something else. So that's what we did, and we started working on Mirador. And well, turns out Mirador didn't really brought us what we thought it would. So we ended up in that situation where we have to figure out, what can we do to make this thing work. And well, DLC is definitely an option. Since I'm pretty much the only developer working on that right now, and I'm doing that very, very on and off.
In your free time.
In my free time.
Sauropod Studio does not pay you a salary currently.
Exactly. So
he's my boss, but he doesn't get paid. I get paid, but he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. So it might take a while before we figure it all out, and but we're working on it.
Hang on, I'll call Elon Musk. Hey, if Elon Musk wants to give us money to make Castle Story 2,
yeah, sure.
Let's do it. Hey,
Elon. I will most certainly do that.
I just found the stream. Could someone here please explain the game? Danilo, are you new to Castle Story as a whole, or only new to this stream? Like, do you not know what we're playing right now, or do you already know what Castle Story is? Maybe you can briefly explain what the game mode is again for the people who are joining us late.
It's called Settlement, and it is a game mode that revolves around a change in your character economy. So in this game mode, basically, the characters that you control, you have to craft with resources you find in the game.
Yeah, you actually build Brictrons.
You actually build Brictrons, and these Brictrons are used for your entire game. So basically, you need to farm and control your resources and bring them all together to defend against the waves of enemies. So it's your basic old Castle Story, but instead of getting your characters magically through a breach in a crystal, you just get them by taking crystals on the map and farming them. And now I'm starting to think I might have, gotten more than what I actually was looking for. I was sort of trying to harass them to reach my crystal, but now they're fighting back now, and this is a problem. Okay, just kill this little guy.
I think you can win this fight.
Yeah, I think I can. I'm just gonna
kite. Use the Briton that has more armor too. There's more coming. You've got more coming in the north. I saw some.
Do I?
We should make a Team Trees shout out with the world editor planting trees. You guys just gave me an idea. Do you know about the Team Trees movement?
Nope.
Do you know who Mr. Beast is?
Nope.
He's an extremely popular YouTuber who became popular in like 2018, 2019, I think. but like ridiculously popular.
Okay.
Like I mean,
What does he do?
what he gives money to everybody. Basically, what he does is he has like events like, I don't know, he'll walk down the street and he'll be like, he'll buy a car, or no, he'll like buy every single car in at a shop, like, you know, places
Okay.
that sell cars. He'll say, I'm buying all your cars, and then he goes on the street and he tells people, hey, I'll sell you a car for like $5 if you sing me a song or something. So like he does that, and recently
Okay, so if he wants to give us money for Castle Story, then I'm down.
recently he started this movement called Team Trees, where for every
you
dollar that someone donates, they plant a tree, and
Yeah,
they're
I
trying to
heard
get
that.
20 million trees, I think, or 200 million or something like that. And Elon Musk gave them money, and now YouTube is like backing them out and like giving them 2 million.
So the guy just gave the money, you know?
He didn't actually give them money. I think he probably donated a large amount, but
But he just filled in.
yeah, like he's doing something. He's
No,
trying to
no,
get
no,
people.
no, no, no. Wrong person.
No, he's gonna die too. He's gonna die too. This one's gonna die.
Oh no. I think I just messed with the wrong.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
I'm dead. Oh, sorry, I was greedy. I'm dead now. I'll have to start another game. So basically, what I'm doing right now is I'm balancing the game to give a challenge to myself. So what you're seeing is going to be the blueprint for the hard version. So if it's challenging for me, while I'm developing it, it means it's going to be the highest level of challenge you'll have to face. Because one of the rules of making games is that the one who develops the game should never be the one testing it. When you do that, you automatically end up mapping your own brain into the game, you know, because you develop things that you can, you know, you augment the difficulty of everything you can overcome, and then it basically follows you up, and you become better, and it in the end you end up with a game that you're the only person in the world that can play. So you have to watch out for that if you end up making your own games. And right now that's what I'm doing because we have no testers. So my idea is that I'm going to do that, and it's going to be the basic for the impossible difficulty.
And eventually, you guys are going to be able to test it too, maybe.
Yeah, I would like that.
That's the idea, I think.
I would like that. Okay, so right now you see I have been given a very bad starting position because everybody's going to be crawling through my space right now because there are 2 points here that are linked, and they're going to spawn right beside me, and it's going to be hell to defend. So I'm thinking I'm going to go establish my base right there in this very remote, comfortable area of the world where no one's going to see me, or so I hope. So,
Rudy says we can be testers. You don't need to pay for them. So that's very nice of you. We're definitely, if we end up wanting to release this game, we're definitely gonna have you guys test it.
oh, I'm gonna grab that gem.
But that's not to say that that professional testers are not worth their money.
Oh yeah, they are.
Like QAs are. It's having someone that QAs your game professionally is a completely different thing from having players playtest your game. Like there's a whole system. It's really not like, I don't want you guys to think that QAs are useless or they're not worth their money or something. Evax was definitely one of the most valuable employees at Sauropod Studio, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, but the thing is, there's a lot of things to test in a game that are not fun.
Yeah.
There are some tests that you need to do repeatedly, and they're the most important ones, and they're the boring ones. They're the ones that no one wants to make. So basically, when you make a game and you ask for the public to test it, you inevitably end up where this. Oops! Oh, I didn't move my rally point. I'm gonna do that.
Okay, so you spawned somewhere else on the map and you took your 2 Bertrands and you moved them to this new spot.
Yes, exactly.
And oh, did it not work?
I don't know.
Oh, there we go. It worked.
Okay,
It just took a moment. That's weird.
Hmm.
And then on your way here, you found a gem, which you picked up,
exactly.
and you planted it over there.
Yeah, exactly.
So now in 15 minutes, that shard is going to spawn you another gem.
Exactly. So by the time I get to fight the first rush, because you see, the last game I was doing, what happened is that I didn't pick up any gems. So basically, I had my 2 characters, and eventually I would have to get out of there and fight my way out to get another gem. So because I needed a 3rd character, so there was basically no way to get around that problem, except maybe if I could grab a gem on the way, which is what I did. So what happens is that now I just gotta wait, and it will give me what I need. So I can take my time and build my base now.
With this,
I know I'll get my my 2nd character.
how do you think this mode would work in PvP?
What I would like, for my vision for the PvP of this mode is that everyone are at remote corners of the map, and they'll basically go and fight for the shards that are going to pop on the map. So when shards are popping, you get your armies out and you try to pick it up, because if you pick your gem, it accelerates your economy. But eventually, your battle starts to be very resource intensive. And you have to balance, if it's worth going out and fight for your gem, or if you should just stay in your base and
protect your farms.
Protect your farms, because if someone launches a catapult at your farms, you're gonna be thrown back to the Dark Ages, and that's not something you want. So basically, you have to balance these two challenges. So, since I already have my shard, I'm in no hurry to get out of there. I'm going to start building archers.
Is it possible for us to mod the game to use different assets? Vexer, I think you can use the sea loader that Electra's made.
I would have to try that sea loader before I can tell you if it's useful for the actual game mode I'm making right now. But I see no reason why it couldn't. Technically, if it loads your code, you can have it do pretty much everything you want. Well, the only thing that's kind of a gray area in terms of doability is the whole prefab thing. Because the fact that you can load code doesn't necessarily mean you can build prefabs outside. So if you want your object to have all the settings it needs to run smoothly in Castle Story, you need our code. You need to be able to place game components on the objects, and that's not something that's going to be easy to do like that. I think someone would have to build some kind of exporter, Castle Story object exporter, and then there's the issue that most of our objects are referred in the code at compile time. We started up in that bad loop of that bad position of content creation when we started, because we decided to have all our data internally, and we set up a compile time systems to be able to access our objects easily down in the code. And we ended up, with this non-existent pipeline of bringing outside object in the game. So eventually, that's something I would like to fix. If Elon Musk gives us his $1 million or something, if he pledges to $1 million every year, one of the first things I will change in that game is the content pipeline, to make sure that you can, have other packages coming from the outside, maybe possibly DLCs.
Elon Senpai, give us money to make Castle Story 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, no, as a Trashman, we're gonna let you guys participate in the contest. Devs are not gonna be participating in it. That wouldn't be fair. Oh yeah, I completely forgot to say. I think there's about a week. Is it 1 week or 2 weeks? I think it's 1 week. Yeah, you have about 1 week left to participate in the Frosty Resort Building Challenge. So there's a Castle Story Building Challenge going on right now, and you can win prizes. So go and participate. Just check the either the discord.gg/CastleStory, or check the Castle Story website or the Castle Story Steam page or anything, and you'll find the building challenge. It's called the Frosty Resort. You have to build something in a winter map. and submit your entry. So yeah, go do that. Definitely.
So
If you release the mode, will you release it via an update or like a mod? Would like it to release it as an update, not a mod. Has anyone posted something yet? Nope. We're waiting. There's always somebody that submits to building challenges. We've never not had entries to building challenges. I'm not worried. If no one enters, no one wins. If only one person enters, they are guaranteed to win. You're making a little wooden wall, a fence.
Yes, I am.
Why? Why don't you build out of bricks?
Well, because I have no bricks in that specific area, and I just want some basic defenses.
Make a quarry.
Yeah, but I see the you know the time ticking, and I built some archers and some basic defenses because I have my crystal there, so I'm gonna get my third brick run soon, and that third brick run is going to give me what I need to go out of there and explore and pick up more resources and all. So I think my economy is pretty much in a good situation right now.
You're using tunnels. That's interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, because I will need to reach this place eventually.
Oh, you want to go down?
Well, I would like to.
I see. Would it be possible eventually to make the instead of having like that's only cosmetic, but right now it shows a shard being planted in the ground. Maybe it wouldn't be nice if it looked like the same patches that are around the map.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Well, maybe. I don't know. Why not?
Yeah, it just seems like it would make more sense for a gem to sprout out of the patches than just a gem planted in the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. And well, the thing is, there are two different things. Okay, so basically the gems that are standing around the map, they're gem patches, and they're driven by the game mode to acquire gems at a certain rate. So every half an hour, two of them will spawn on one of these available patches.
There's one on the island over there.
Yeah, I know that, but I'll have to go there and make a bridge, and I'm really not ready to go attack the. It's going to stay there for a while. I'm going to use this one, and the one that's going to get to spawn in 20 minutes.
Eventually, it'd be nice if it showed you in how many seconds your farm is going to spawn another gem.
Yes, it would be nice if there were like these little wisps turning around, giving me information, or maybe anything.
A circle on the ground that fills up or something.
Yeah, that would work.
Okay, so what are you waiting for? What is your plan?
Okay, so my plan right now is to start excavating for stone pretty soon. So right now I built this very light wooden wall that I think is going to make me go through the first attack, and then I'm going to have like another 10 minutes to go grab gems outside. Well, I mean I can't go out and grab gems right now because the other one is another island. Yeah. So basically I have some downtime here. I have some time to invest in my infrastructures. So I'm going to build a stone wall after I build this wooden one. So if I'm surprised by the enemies, I'm going to fall back on my wooden wall, and if not, I'm going to build a nice big stone wall. And that's going to be the base for my defense here. And maybe eventually I'll go out and build another bigger defense here because this is a well protected area. And then maybe some overarching wards to protect that place here. And I'm going to mine. So I started my mine there, my tunnel, in the idea that I would eventually bring it down there and start mining the resources. So that's pretty much the direction I'm taking right now. We're gonna see where it goes. Oh, by the way, the crystals right there are the one who feeds your wards. So, really? You have no home crystal. So last week I removed the home crystal and I was proud of myself, and I started playing the game, and I realized that I couldn't use wards for defense. So it's not so bad for me because I prefer using my characters when I defend because I think it's more like I prefer that. I have a personal. But I'm a romantic. I like to fight with my own brick runs. But wards are an important part of our economy, so I can't just not have
So right now they're powered by your farms?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
You made your wooden walls 3 high, but you could have saved some wood by making them 2 high.
yeah, of course, but I like them three
Yeah,
high.
they don't look as good 2 high.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't seem like a convincing wall, you know. You need to feel that it's protecting you. I mean, it's not worth it if you don't feel protected.
Chat, do you guys use the pie menu much, or do you use the menu on the left to build? Who in the chat uses the pie menu a lot? The pie menu is the thing, the circle that appears when you hold right click. That thing, if you can show them the pie menu real quick, François? That thing, that's the pie menu. Who here uses the pie menu to build stuff and to choose bricks and structures and whatnot? I'm curious. You use the menu on the left, Pedro? Okay, I use the menu on the left too. Although the pie menu is quicker if you know exactly where everything is. You use the one on the left, yeah. Okay, Joey Myers uses the pie menu. Rudy also prefers the left menu. Trashman left menu. Okay, most of you use the left menu.
Yeah, I use the pie menu because I'm an old school.
Yeah.
So when I started Castle Story, the first menu we had was like
it was the only pie menu. It was the only menu we had until like
yeah,
I think
exactly.
0.8.
Well, the very first menu was this ugly gooey thing I made. It was in the top corner there, and you could just choose your bricks. And since there were like 2 types of bricks available, 4 I think, you didn't really need more than that. But I mean, it didn't last.
Yeah.
We pretty quickly needed more options than these 4 bricks. So so we made the pie menu to compensate.
Trying to get used to using the pie menu, it wasn't really shown off too much. I just happened to run across it. Yeah, so I think oh look, there's corruptions on the island.
Yeah, I see them.
Approximately around, I think
dispatch them.
Update 0.8, we decided that we wanted to pretty much stop using the pie menu altogether. We didn't want the pie menu to sort of be a thing anymore. We didn't remove it from the game, but we shifted everything over to like a more visible, easier to use, more like user-friendly, new player-friendly menu that appears on the left. But we didn't take out the pie menu, it's still there and you can still use it. I use the pie menu to open tasks. Okay, I've started using just key bindings for tasks, like TV and stuff like that. T for tasks, B for bricks, G for structures. You use the pie menu, Deadbait? Okay. Poor Corruptrons, you're just sniping them from over there.
Yeah, they can't do much to defend right now. They already exhausted their stones.
Do they only get 1 stone each?
It's
on cooldown?
Yeah, it's on cooldown. It's stamina mechanic. Like the knight and his shield, you don't see the Corruptron stamina, but it basically costs him half his stamina to throw a rock, I think. And there are some circumstances. There's a glitch in the game. There's a bug in the game where the Corruptron will try to throw his rock, and for some reason he doesn't lose his stamina, and he throws it. So he just starts locked in a position where he throws rocks.
I've never seen that.
It happens sometimes. So one would start here and try to attack me, and he'd be like blocked into that weird little angle there where he would have decided to throw a rock at my archer there, and he wouldn't reach them, and he just like throw rocks infinitely. So you just let him do his thing. You fight the other enemies, and then you go pick him up afterwards. So speaking of picking people up, I should get attacked. It's been 15 minutes.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Right on cue.
Yeah.
Right on cue. Does the Buffetron still throw minitrons? No, we had to get rid of that mechanic, unfortunately.
It didn't really work. Well, it sort of worked-ish, but, you know.
Oh, they were attacking your door? Oh, no, they were attacking the structure, too. I think that archer is going to fall and die if you don't put him on the brick. Yeah, probably not. Oh, but he can't shoot from there, can he? Yeah, there you go. That one looks a little... he can't shoot from there.
You think I'm gonna get killed right there?
I don't think he can't shoot. He can't see the Corruptrons from there. See, he's not actually firing. He can't aim on the target. Oh, there you go. Now that there's a gap. Nope, still. Maybe put him on the plank next to the pole. Uh-oh, they broke in. They're coming up.
It's okay.
It's only one.
There's only one of them.
There's another one down there too, but should be fine. So they will focus Britrons first and then farms second?
Well, sometimes they attack the farms first.
Okay.
But right now they decided they will focus on my character. Fortunately, because I would have been in a very bad position if they didn't. If they just go there and break my farm, then I lose my my investment. So right now the game is pretty fragile, and since that if you misplace your resources at the beginning of the game, you can end up getting killed pretty fast, and that's a problem I'd like to work on eventually. But right now I'm okay with being unforgiving, because it's just me, and I don't mind getting frustrated once in a while.
Yeah.
But in easier settings, I'm thinking you'll have you'll start with more than 2 characters, and maybe you'll pick up crystals more often on the map. So if you misuse your first one, it's not that much of a problem. You can just always go back and grab another one. And maybe the differences around the crystal are going to scale with the passing game and all. And one of the mechanics I really like in colony managers, and I think I would try to implement it for this game too, this game mode too, is when the difficulty scales with the amount of things you have in your base. So I would like the number of brictrons and wards and crystals to influence the number of corruptrons that attack you. Instead of being just a race against the time, it will also be a race against the enemies, and they would match your own base. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do with that project. We'll see how it goes. But I'd like that game mode to be keyed to your economy, the difficulty to be keyed to your economy, essentially.
Currently, I feel like I like that you can move the idle task the most. Yeah, that's a really cool concept. Do we already have like the blueprint that you have to build to win the game, or right now there's no way of winning?
There's no way of winning right now.
Currently, okay.
I didn't set up the. As I said, like if you want the game mode to respond to the creation of a specific object, you need to basically instruct the game mode of the existence of that object, and that requires some signal work, and our signal system is very flexible, but it's not my specialty. I didn't work with that specific area of the game, so I didn't handle it for now. I just sort of said, like, when I'm gonna have enough crystal, I'm gonna decide that I win. And when it's obvious that I can have as many brictrons as I can, I'm gonna declare a victory. I'm gonna measure how many crystal this is, and decide that this is my milestone for victory. So
maybe it can be different depending on the difficulty setting that you choose.
Yeah, of course, why not?
Okay, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait until that farm sprouts a gem just to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
And then maybe we start considering wrapping up the stream for today, even though it wasn't very long.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, there you go. Actually, it's just. Oh, it's 3:30. Let's keep going to like 4-ish.
Okay, so I have 1 crystal right there. So obviously what I will do with that crystal is create another character, because last raid was pretty rough. I almost died, and I think I'm gonna need a character to keep up.
So right now that you have a gem, you have a choice to make. Either you have 3 choices.
Yeah, exactly.
1 out of 3 options. Either you craft a new Bertrand, which is what you're gonna choose to do.
Yeah.
Either you plant that gem, so in 15 minutes you get 2 gems instead of 1.
Exactly.
You get 2 farms. Or the option that isn't in the game mode right now is that you start building your home crystal to win the game.
Exactly. So obviously I'm not going to build my home crystal, first of all because it's not there, and because when I do that I basically waste my resources, because now I really need them to expand my economy, because the next raid is coming up in 10 minutes and it's going to be harder than the first one, and I can't really deal with that level of difficulty if I don't have another character, or if it's if I build my stone walls, maybe I'll survive by an inch and get another character afterwards. But I think it's too risky for now, so I'm going to play it more safe and create another character.
It can't be done endless. I mean, I guess you could play it endless, just never build your home crystal.
Yeah, why not?
It's kind of like never build a rocket on Rimworld.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Or never beat the Ender Dragon on Minecraft, you know, just, yeah, you don't have to do it. There we go.
Ruglia.
Ruglia.
Hello, Ruglia.
Is he smiling or is he angry? Is it an angry Bertrand or a happy Bertrand?
He's not sure.
Different. He's not sure. He's undecided. I think the game mode is like a prequel to the main game story-wise. Kind of, Matthew. I think so too. I think that's the idea.
Yeah, pretty much. A prequel of the game is maybe a little.
Giving the game lore a little too much credit there, but
yeah, exactly. But it's the idea. I mean, the concept of the game Castle Story was always about managing a group of Bricktron and, you know, building up a castle and all. It's just that we got sort of distracted in the whole, you know, making a good strategy game challenge, which is another kind of beast.
Yeah.
And in the process, we never really took the time to get in that colony management direction that I think was interesting. So this game mode is basically just an attempt at trying that approach. But I mean, if it turns out that everyone loves it, if you think that it's the best game in the world, and everyone starts buying Castle Story like crazy, and
because of this game mode,
because of this specific game mode, then you know, why not you know, expand on that and, you know, bring it further and all. I could make these little crystal there being, you know, more like a farm project where they would set up small crystal chunks everywhere and you'd pick them up. You know, I could have the home crystal blueprint be an object that builds up and becomes greater and starts spawning, you know, all these things and be super impressive and have more HPs like we were talking earlier. All of these are valid options. I just need to, you know, have the time and energy and team to work on that.
So this game mode would be more of a settlers game, exactly.
Well,
I think.
yeah.
What did you say the name would be?
Settlement. Well, it's a work in progress.
Yeah,
game
we'll definitely rediscuss that name. But something I like that. Matthew said, let's say they are the exploration team and Invasion and Conquest are the settlers. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's another way of seeing it.
Settletrons.
Well, I'd like to think that the Brickrons ended up on that island by some mysterious magical event.
They got really lucky, and those are Brickrons that fell off another island. And
yeah,
they're lucky, and there was another island under them, and
exactly.
They caught them.
And now they have to start anew, and they decide to build their own home crystal for that. Oops, I did not build another archer. I have to do that right now because the enemies are coming in like a minute.
Something else that's interesting about this is that you start with less Brickrons, so your production rate is considerably slower. You can't just have like 4 archer kit in the first 3 minutes.
No, exactly. So your production has to be, you know, well invested. Your production time has to be well invested because you can't just get there and, you know, build 5 knights and start rushing through the map and getting your victory like that. It's not going to happen because there's more enemies coming your way than you can actually deal with the time you have to build your economy. That's the intention here, to bring a compromise into that.
So far, I love this idea because now you have more freedom to make your strategy. Good. I'm glad you guys seem to like it. Make it so randomly sometimes Brickrons just fall from the sky. That would be so funny though. That would be awesome.
So it's a random event.
Oh, you're being attacked. You're being attacked.
Yes, that's a good timing because I just have my 3rd archer right
Your
there.
Your 2nd archer. Oh no, 3rd.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a pretty big wave. So Corruptrons will attack you sometimes in this mode.
Oh yeah, they do.
Kind of like Invasion and Conquest.
Yeah, they have waves. Like now they're set up at every 10 minutes. They have waves and they also wander the map. So like the 2 previous games I tried, I got killed by wandering Corruptrons. And right now...
Well, you're lucky they're going for your door.
Yeah, exactly. So right now...
Is that a shabby door too?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is a shabby door, but it lasts a fairly decent amount of time. I'm surprised.
Well, I tried it last time and it worked, so I said, yeah, why not do it again?
I think you're gonna survive this one. What about population caps?
There's no population cap right now in the game mode. I guess what happens is when you have like 10 brictrons or 15 brictrons, you're pretty much at the end of the game anyway. So you'll win eventually. So you don't really need a population cap, but maybe we'd put them on just so someone doesn't go up and start creating like 60 characters and then filling
complaining
up.
that there's lag in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
I made 100 brictrons and my game is lagging. I want a refund.
Yeah, something like that. If I can avoid that nonsense complaints.
So Chateaujon doesn't get angry at you dealing with support tickets about the game lagging at 60 brictrons.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I'll put a population cap some way. I mean, up to a certain point, it will be a question of how much energy I want to place in making that game mode official. You know, so I could just let it be a small thing on the side that you play if you're a fan of Castle Story and want to try it. You know. Or I could spend hours, making it all networked and clean, and setting all the proper icons and balancing the game and all. And it would also be an interesting thing to do. It will be a matter of choice, I guess, and time. A lot of question of time and opportunity. I mean, if we got some decent winter sales, it augments the possibilities that it's going to be. Viable for us to work on the game mode and making it cleaner. And if it's not the case, then maybe in a few months I will just release a game mode on the workshop, and it's going to be a funky thing, and it will not be official.
The winter sales coming up are going to be very telling for Sauropod, I think, as a whole. I think they're going to be a very important deciding factor on what we do in the future for Sauropod Studio. Yes. So be sure to tell your friends about Castle Story, especially this winter. The sales are coming, and Castle Story is going to be on sale for a pretty steep discount. So yeah, do that. And if you haven't left a review for Castle Story on Steam yet, do it. Now's the time. The reviews are positive. Let's keep them positive, because positive reviews make a huge difference in how many more people get the game and how many more people we have in the community. So if you haven't left a review for Castle Story, go on Steam right now and go to the Castle Story store page and leave a review. Don't have any friends? You know what? Yes, you do, Pedro. Yes, you do. You have friends. I don't want to hear that. Even internet friends are friends, and they count. And I mean, whenever, if you're on Reddit or if you're on other Discords, not other games Discords, but just general gaming related platforms, and people talk about like building or colony games or stuff like that, mention Castle Story. Be like, hey, there's Castle Story. It's a really fun game. Does François eat poutine? Do you eat poutine?
Yes, I do.
Who doesn't? What kind of stupid question is that as a trash man? Jesus. We're from Quebec, man.
Everybody
you can't
poutine.
ask that question. It's like asking if French people eat... What do French people eat?
Bread, I guess.
Baguettes. That's kind of racist. that's kind of no. I eat baguette too. Everybody eats baguette. That's like asking if Germans like beer. That's like asking if I don't know. I feel like the more I delve into that, the more racist it's gonna get. So I'm gonna stop. But yes, people from Quebec eat poutine. All of us. Hi, little big brain. So yeah, you guys go leave a review on Steam if you haven't, please. It would really help. I should promote this game to my college annual game competition. Yes! Do it!
Of course. This is a very important thing. I mean, promotion from the fans. You might not think that. I mean, it might look a little cheesy or something to just say like, oh, we really need you, we really love you. But it's actually true,
Like, we really need you.
Yeah.
Like, word of mouth is pretty much what makes or breaks a game, honestly. And like, I can do all the marketing in the world. If people don't talk about the game, then people won't buy the game. It's not like I can get a few dozen, maybe a few hundred people to buy Castle Story by doing marketing and stuff. But you guys, it's word of mouth that actually makes the difference. So definitely talk about Castle Story to your friends. Definitely let them know. Leave a review on Steam if you haven't yet. There's the Steam winter sales coming up very soon. I'm not allowed to say the date, but I mean, it leaked like 1,000 times. Every year it leaks, so it's not really a secret. And yeah, Castle Story is going to be on discount. 92% positive recently? Really? 92% now? Wow. It was at like 70 last time I checked, but that's really cool. So yeah. So It's like I'm guessing it's really nice that you guys are sort of maybe make your archer jump off.
Oh right, jump off. That could work.
Oh, never mind. He's shooting. Oh, too late.
Well, it's too late.
There's a Bertrand that's not doing anything, though. He doesn't have empty stuff balls. Oh, wait, yes, he does. Oh, I think he's in a task.
Okay, right.
That knight is going to die, by the way, for sure. Maybe not. His PC couldn't handle it? Yeah, Kelsey does need a decent PC. Do Bertrands have feelings? Chateaujean refuses to answer. Well, if Chateaujean refuses to answer something, Francois knows better than to answer it.
Okay. Sure. Why
He's
not?
my boss.
Let's not answer that.
He's my boss, but he trusts my PR and communication decisions.
Yes.
That like when Carl says not to do something, he doesn't do it.
Well, you know, trusting your employees is basically the first rule of business. You know, if you don't trust the guy, don't hire him.
Exactly. Exactly. Nice try, Wands. Nice try.
Okay, so I guess time passed, and there might be some crystal who spawned somewhere on the map. So it could be time to try to
there's
go
one
pick
right
them
there.
up. Okay, there's one.
Wait,
there.
there's another one.
Yeah,
that's
this
on
one
the
I saw,
island.
but he's gonna
There's one there too.
There are two here. Okay.
3 of them.
Yeah, so I think I got my next.
You could zoom out more if you enable editor camera, by the way.
Yeah, I don't need
Okay.
much zoom out. I think right now what I need is an expedition.
Wands, do you want Bertrands to have feelings? There was an actual strategy before in PvP. When you make your base far away from your home crystal in a better place, this game mode makes it easier and better. Yeah, but the problem in doing that in PvP is that if your home crystal blows up, you lose. They are quite squishy and cuddly, so they must have feelings. I mean, they're made of bricks and blue gems right now in this game mode. I don't know how squishy they are. Although we've already established that Bertrands are squishy even if they're made of stone.
Yeah, of course they're squishy. They're supple. You know, you see them moving and all this. They need to be.
They're like the plushies. They're squishy, but they're still made of stone. It's like magical squishy stone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like people in real life. Some people have this conspiracy theory where, wait, you sent 3. How are you going to pick up the gem?
Well, right now I'm just going to clear the way.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm going to go there and destroy pretty much everything that stands in my way. And
The crystal softens the stone. Yeah, I like that. How do you activate day cycle in Sandbox? You can't. Sandbox is set to be frozen on daytime. I think if you open the editor menu and you can toggle on, I think the daytime. Or toggle off freeze day. I think by default it's frozen. You can toggle that off so it's unfrozen. I'm not sure though. There's this conspiracy theory where people think that rocks, like real life rocks, are actually squishy, soft until you touch them, and when you touch them, they get solid. Kind of like, you know, there's viscous liquid that you can punch, but if you put your hand slowly, it goes in. But if you punch it, there's some people that think it's a joke, it's a meme, but people like a meme where real life rocks are actually soft until you touch them, they get scared and they become super solid. So Bertrands are the opposite of that. They're usually solid until you touch them, then they're squishy.
That's kind of strange.
Is the crystals a source of personality? You're trying to get us to make canon Castle Story lore like 15 minutes before this stream ends. Not even 15 minutes, like 5 minutes before the stream ends. I'm gonna let Francois like get his other gem.
Yeah, of course, but right now I'm gonna get attacked, so I just need to go there and prepare for the battle, and then I'm gonna go grab my gem, and then we're gonna end the stream, because you'll get the idea of the gem spawning and all.
That's weird, Pedro. Usually you should freeze, I think, in daytime. I'm not sure. I'd lose points. No, Zatrashman. You'd lose points for cheating builds. So like if you use editor mode to like actually build stuff, like instantly build bricks and stuff like that, or spawn yourself returns or whatever. But you can use editor mode to like set day and night and whatever for your screenshots and stuff. You can use editor mode to build your resort too for the challenge. If you want to do that, that's fine. It's just I'm gonna be more impressed if you don't cheat to build it.
That's a pretty big wave.
That is a pretty big wave.
Am I supposed to survive that or something?
This is the end. Close your eyes and count to 10. I know you have an intern file with lore. Go leak it. We do have internal files that had lore for both Calstory and Mirador.
Do we have that?
Yeah, we do. I've read some Google Docs of Castle Story lore that Germain had written down.
Okay, so we have lore.
Yeah, we just never officialized it or implemented it into the game or anything.
Well,
I think they were just like brain farts that Germain just wrote down, like brain ramblings.
I remember Germain and I, when we started working in that game, we did a lot of thinking over what was happening in that world and why. And we thought about what we wanted to put in it and how it would work and how everything would be articulated together into something nice and meaningful and all. And one of the parts of that game was the lore. So it's called Castle Story because it was supposed to be super lore intensive. It just turns out that we didn't really reach that point where we could actually put the lore in.
A campaign might make an interesting DLC actually.
Oh yeah, of course. But then we'd need some tools for that.
Actually, I think we might already have what we need, or at least a good chunk of what we need. Because I know I made, like, you remember when we went to London for Resd? When me, Germain, and Miriam went to London for Resd?
Yeah.
Resd UK.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I made a tutorial that was kind of like a campaign.
Right.
I coded that. I remember I was in the airplane and I was still working on it, and it was pretty neat. Like you started on an island and it told you, okay, they put a circle there. Please get some wood there, and then please.
Yeah, I remember
so
that.
I think it would be. It's already probably somewhat there.
Okay, yeah. So campaign mode then.
Maybe.
So right now we're going to make a first game mode who has some sort of coherent universe, and if people like that, then we're going to make a big ass campaign mode, right? But we need Elon Musk's first $1 million though. So we need
Elon Musk's financing.
Yeah, exactly. But if
really, really good sales this winter.
Oh yeah, if we sell $1 million this winter worth of Castle Story.
I mean, if we sell $1 million of sales this winter on Castle Story, that I'm going to be very, very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Very surprised.
If we do that, then we're going to make a story mode. Is that the idea?
I promise that if we make $1 million of sale this winter, we will definitely do something. There's going to be.
But it might not be story mode.
It might not be a story mode, but it'll definitely be something. Only 1 million? I mean, Matthew, if you have a really rich dad and you want to buy 1 million copies of Castle Story, please do. Or 250, 100,000 copies of Castle Story. Does toggling the editor camera count? No. Go ahead, Pedro. And I mean, like I said, if you want to cheat for the building challenge, you can. If you don't feel like gathering the bricks and everything, and you just want to, like, place bricks, go for it. Do it. It's totally fine. All right. So I think you guys get a pretty good gist of how the game mode operates. What do you think? Although there's no win condition for now, this game mode seems already capable for PvP to try out. I guess. Not sure what you mean, but I guess. How will you know if somebody cheated the build or not? I have ways, Mr. Matthew. I have ways.
So I'm gonna get killed right there.
Uh-oh. Too many Corruptrons?
Too many Corruptrons. So I just met a wandering band of Corruptrons on my way. Okay, so you go there, pick up some archer equipment. You go up here in your defense position. And you try not to get killed. If you can find a way not to get killed, it would be nice.
I want them to drop and drop pods. That would be so cool as a random event for a Brooktown to just land.
Fall off the islands, like we said.
It's cool. I love it. Okay, cool. I'm glad you guys like it. Yeah, have some Bertrons trapped by Corruptrons and patches. Like prisoner Bertrons you have to go and rescue. Bertrons stuck in cages. There's like infinite ideas that we have for Castle Story, seriously. The problem is just that we're stupid, useless human beings that need to actually eat and pay bills and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, well, that's one of the problems we're facing on a regular basis. Eating and sleeping and all. It really hinders our
buying diapers.
Yeah, it really hinders our productivity. But
It's okay. We were born like 100 years too late to just become like omniscient robots that can just Oh
Oh no, my character is dead.
no! You only have 2 archers left?
Well, it's okay because I just got one of my,
Oh yeah, you got a gem over there.
Yeah, I got a gem over there. So.
Did you get the gem that was back there?
No, but I dropped it in the middle of nowhere, and I can go back and pick it up.
Pick it up, okay.
So I'm not in such a bad position. See, I can craft another character here. So I lost my knight, which is
Shouldn't
a big
you
problem.
plant that gem? Oh no, you need another.
No, I should not plant it. I need to.
Do you need to harvest the gem, or is it a task that gets automatically created?
No, it's not automatic.
Okay.
It was at the beginning, but the characters ended up filling your stockpiles with blue crystal, and eventually, without you noticing it, you could end up with your production stuck with blue crystals, and you would have wanted to do something else with that instead of just building them up and all. So we basically.
Wait, what do you mean? Why don't they just pick up the gem and put it in a stockpile?
Well, they can, but the
But
thing
automatically.
well, they can.
Okay.
Which they don't. I mean, I deactivated that
Okay.
possibility. I had that before, and I deactivated it because I ended up, making a game where my stockpiles would be filled with these crystals. Because
But I mean, if that happens, you win the game. That's
yeah,
the
but
thing.
if they put them all at the right place at the right moment. But if they start going crazy and putting crystals everywhere in your production, like one per stockpile or anything.
Oh,
and then
okay. Why don't they just stack them for 4 gems per stockpile?
Well, they can, but they don't necessarily do. I mean, I have to figure that specific thing out before.
Because they already do that with other resources, right?
Yeah, they do, and they will.
Okay.
They didn't
Just
when I
not-
tried
it's
it.
just not in the
When
game
I
right
tried it,
now.
it didn't work. So I just said like, okay, I'm gonna toggle that off
I got
for a
you.
while,
I got you.
and when I figure out what the problem
I thought
is,
it was like intentional that you toggled it off.
no.
I
Well,
got you.
I did it intentionally, but to fix a problem,
I
you know.
what you mean.
Okay, so this wall is problematic. This is.
Oh, Wands is saying start the game mode with the Bertrons falling from the sky. Like the 2 Bertrons that you have, spawn them like maybe 500
okay.
feet in the air, just so like the story explains that they fell from the sky and that's why they're on this island.
Oh, right. So we get that lore is built
I like
inside
that
the
a
game.
lot. I like that so much.
That's an interesting idea.
It would be probably easy to do too, right? Because
Yeah.
right now I know you can
Yeah, it
spawn
would be pretty
Bertrons and
easy.
they fall.
Yeah. Okay, so we had this animation system a long time ago that we used for the.
It works right now.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I borrow just for a second?
I
I'm gonna
don't-
cheat a Bertrand.
No,
'cause-
don't touch.
No, we're almost done. We have to wrap up the stream like
Okay.
in 7 minutes, anyways. But like, it could be like
Can I go get my character first? I don't want to get the feeling.
you don't want me
cheated.
to. Oh, fine.
I don't want to cheat my character.
Fine.
I want to get my gem legit. Okay, and then we're gonna spawn characters out of nowhere. So yeah, that system. We made an old animation system back then to create the videos we use for the Kickstarter. And when I tried that system, I made a homemade video, a homemade animation that you'd click, and it was supposed to work on a very specific map. So what it did, it spawned 4 characters and it sent them to the nearest mine. But and I called it "Les gars vont à la mine," which means guys go to the mine. And the thing is that map. Oh no! What the hell?
More corruptions. I don't think
What the
you're getting
hell?
it. I don't think you're winning this one, Francois.
No, this is my gem. It's just laying on the ground right there. I can get that. I just need another archer and maybe another knight or something, and then I can go back there. I'm sure I can figure this out.
I'm surprised by how many people are saying they would pay money for cosmetic DLCs.
Would you? Pay money?
Apparently, people would pay money for cosmetic DLCs for Bertrands, like to make their Bertrands look different, like have hats on and stuff like that. The problem is that the attachments on Bertrands is very, very deeply entrenched in what the silhouette of the class is. So like, if we take off the hat off of the archer, it becomes a lot harder to tell that it's an archer.
Right, that's true. Oh no, and then the next wave is coming in. I'm dying.
I think
not,
that's it, Francois.
I'm not getting out of there.
Let me just spawn that Bertrand in the air to show you.
Okay, no, I'm losing my characters. I'm going to run in my base. Run.
Francois, you're delaying the inevitable. Let me borrow for a second.
Okay. Okay, I just lost.
You lost your own game, so check
Yeah.
this out. If you spawn a Bertrand with the pivot in the air like this.
Oh yeah, I didn't finish my story about Lego what I mean.
It does that.
Yeah, so this little animation, it got old, and the characters started spawning in places that there were no island anymore. So when new employees would come in the studio and try things, it's just you get someplace, you try the code base, you figure out what that is. You find this animation that's called Les gars vont à la mine, and if you click that, what happens is it basically just spawns 4 characters in the middle of nowhere, and they fall to their death. And that's it. That's the animation. There's no mines anymore. There's no island there. It's just like, oh, what's that? It looks cute. It has this little, Snow White's dwarf kind of thing. Click on that, and your character dies, and their soul goes up to the air. And
that's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So, what did you guys think? I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you think this game mode is fun and has potential.
Yeah. As for the I was thinking about the cosmetic thing.
Yeah.
And I thought like it would be hard to have cosmetic for the classes because the whole code revolves around having specific items.
Yeah, and
but we could do cosmetics for the workers. You could have, you could put a top hat on your worker.
Or maybe the cosmetics would be that your knight hat, instead of being that pauldron hat, it could be a different kind of helmet or something.
Also, all the knights on your game would have a different style.
Yeah, or like the archer, instead of having a feather hat, it would have like a cloak or a hood or something. Or
so if it's a replacement thing,
it becomes pretty easy.
It becomes extremely easy because we do that. Well, extremely no.
Yeah, but
it becomes very doable.
Yes, if we do decide to do DLCs, first of all, I just want to say that it's really nice that you guys are telling us and letting us know that you would be okay with Castle Story DLCs, because one of the things that stopped us from making Castle Story DLC is that we were actually scared. We were like worried, like people are gonna hate us if we make DLCs for Castle Story. People are gonna be like so angry, and I'm sure there's still gonna be people that get really angry if we make DLC for Castle Story. But at some point, it's like either we have to make money with Castle Story or we just stop doing anything that has to do with Castle Story. So it gives us this confidence boost to have like people, just speak up about, hey, no, we're totally fine with, paying some, like giving you guys more money for Castle Story content because we like Castle Story, so we're down with for more content. But yeah, if we do decide, if we do manage, first of all, to stabilize ourselves financially in order to continue working on Castle Story, there's a good chance that it would be in the form of DLCs. And like I said, we have a bunch of ideas, but feel free to keep telling us, what ideas you'd have, like maybe a campaign, cosmetic skins, like you said, brick packs, or maybe furniture packs, like you could buy a pack and it would give you just a bunch of decorations for your castles, or I don't know, different brick types, different columns. I have no idea. Different class packs. But yeah, so guys, thank you so much for watching today's stream. I hope you had fun. François, thank you for joining us and showing us what you've been toying around with. It looks like a lot of fun. And we will most likely see you next Friday at the same time, or around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you join the Discord, discord.gg/castlestory. And make sure that if you haven't yet, leave a review for Castle Story on Steam. The winter sales are coming, and it would help a lot if you guys share your opinion on the game. Let people know that you have fun with Castle Story. So hey, for the price that it's going to be this winter sale, maybe a lot of people are going to be interested in checking it out. It's good for us. It's good for you. And yeah, thank you, and have a wonderful weekend.
Bye bye.